Welcome everybody. This is James Bellini for Cover1. This is the pregame show. I got my co-hosts Ryan Chadwick and Paul Harris. How we doing, guys?
Doing great, James. It's the big bad bye week.
I know everybody's on a bye week. Paul, what do you think?
It's always a light schedule this week. It's kind of weird with most of the 11-man teams being off, but 6-man gets a little more spotlight this week.
I know we're talking. Everybody's off this week, but we have some really good 6-man matchups coming up. And we're going to get into them. Before we do any of that, though, we're going to hear a quick word from Kicking Cuts. Looking for a fresh cut without breaking the bank? Well, Kicking Cuts is now open at 4238 Sherwood Way. Haircuts start at $19 for kids and $22 for adults. They offer hot towels, beard detailings, multiple discounts, and they also sell hard-to-find hair care products. Kicking Cuts is locally owned, and they're ready to get you looking sharp at an affordable price. Kicking Cuts, located at 4238 Sherwood Way in San Angelo. Okay, guys. Central has bye week, Chadwick, but you went to the press conference. And nonetheless, what did Coach Smith have to say about Central so far and hitting the bye?
Man, just after another dominant win on the road last week over Waco, Coach Smith's spirits were really high. Just was very, very complimentary of his team overall. Thinks that they continue to take steps forward every week. He said before that Waco matchup that he just wants to see his team play more and more of a complete football game each and every week. And, Central has done that after the couple of tough matchups against two really good 5A football teams in Abilene High and Amarillo High. Central has just kind of turned that corner, and they keep playing better and better every week. Most notably that defense, man. Like they are doing a really good job of stopping the run this year overall, and that's going to be really pivotal moving into district play, especially against schools like Odessa Permian and Midland High, who really love pounding the rock. But I think that there's still a lot of room for growth and a lot of room for improvement. The most improvement we've seen out of any position this year is at the quarterback position. Micah Smith had another great game against Waco. He didn't have to throw the ball as much in this matchup just because the Bobcats ran the ball so well in the second half. But his completion percentage keeps going up every week, and he the pick he threw against Belton wasn't even his fault. Bounced off of his tight end's hands before it got intercepted. But it's so since the Amarillo High game, he hasn't thrown any picks, and he just continues to get better and better every week. It seems like that locker room is behind him, and we've just kind of stopped hearing those murmurs of why is he starting, and more like let's see what this kid can do.
All right, and it doesn't get easy when they come back. They got Midland Lee that first.
Midland Lee at home. It should be a good one.
Paul, let's talk about Burnett and Lakeview real fast. Lakeview dropped their last game to Levelland. We kind of said it might be a trap game heading in because Levelland, they're not pushovers. Their record in the past might not have reflected how good they were heading into that game, but they had lost 3 straight games. Now they lost 4 straight. Where's the panic button for you with Lakeview? Because as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't even be in the room.
Definitely not. It was nice to have the momentum. You just wanted to keep that momentum going. They're off to that 4-0 start, their best start in 40-something years, And so, there's a lot of excitement in the stadium. Could they keep it going, And even when they fell behind by 20, you still felt like, hey, man, this offense could get going at any point, When they finally did, they stormed back. And they had a chance there at the end. I mean, Alviso drove them from the 8-yard line, nearly 70 yards to the 30. They had a shot into the end zone. Braylon White nearly pulled it down, so they almost forced it into overtime. Defensively, they struggled again. They're struggling to tackle some of these power backs they faced last couple weeks. That's been tough. The offense needs to get some more help from the defense, and of course, a lot of the offensive guys are playing on defense. That's a challenge Lakeview has with all the two-way guys. So it was tough to see the perfect start end, but at the same time, they showed a ton of fight. They almost had it. And so now with Burnett coming to town this week.
Very winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of trouble with Burnett last year. I think this is a different Lakeview team, and it's a different, Burnett team. Burnett has struggled offensively, which is something that Lakeview's defense needs. They don't need another offensive powerhouse coming in, So I think that favors Lakeview, and they've had good crowds, and I think there should still be a lot of excitement about what this team could be capable of. It's a different Lakeview team, So it'd be I think the big thing is you don't want another loss. You don't want any doubt creeping in their minds. You want to keep that momentum going. So it's a big game. It's non-district, but it's a big game for them still.
That's pretty much what Coach Guevara said at the press conference too. He goes, "I just need the defense to come together and get some stops." Like he did give it the caveat, like when the offense really needed a stop, the defense delivered at the end of the game, especially with that pick there at the end to give them one more chance.
They did get 3 stops in the last 4 level end drives, so the defense has shown an ability to be clutch when they need to be.
So maybe homecoming messed with them a little bit. I don't know.
Coaches hate homecoming though because of all the distractions throughout the week. I know that
is very
every
true.
coach I've talked to said they just dislike homecoming a lot because of everything that comes along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Burnett. I'm not really sure who their quarterback is. You know that on Max Preps they have 4 different players listed, but Fisher Powell seems to have been kind of the guy. He's a sophomore out there. He's got 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Their running game, they have 2 backs that are kind of their lead guys. They each have 300 yards or over 300 yards. One of them has 7 touchdowns. So that defense, the Lakeview's defense has to step up and get a stop. You can't always be, hey, we're doing great, guys. No, you need to get a stop. You need against Burnett. You can prove, go out, get some stops. That Burnett defense is pretty good though. They have like 9.5 sacks. 2 players have 7.5 or 6.5 between them, and I think they've only been giving up like 30 points a game or something like that. Their defense is pretty good, but this Lakeview offense is also extremely good as far as going through Albizo. He's got 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I mean, he is the truth for Lakeview, and Isaiah Rios has been a really big, weight off of his shoulders out of the backfield. He's got 12 touchdowns already, and even through the air, he's got like 180 yards through the air. And they have 6 other receivers who have over 100 yards. And one of their players, I think is it Whitfield? I could be wrong there, but he's got 3 receptions for 70 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's Christian Esparza.
Esparza, I apologize, but I mean, still, you're 3 for 3 on touchdowns. You throw into him, 100% throw into him for touchdowns. So I do think this Lakeview offense can take advantage of this defense, but this Lakeview defense, it's time to start stepping up. It's time to start getting stops early in the game. That way it doesn't come down to clutch time at the end where you have to get a stop. Get them off the field early in the game, put up a couple more touchdowns and build that lead a little bit, hold on to it, and then at the end it's not as hectic and not as crunch time. I don't know if you're trying to keep the crowd in it or not, but hopefully you're not. So I do like Lakeview in this one. I think they have a really good chance at beating Burnett, and then they have Brownfield coming up after them. That doesn't matter right now. Just Burnett, go beat Burnett, and get back in the win column. And before we go on to Wall Nidalee, we're gonna hear a quick word from Angelo MRI.
Have you ever needed an MRI? Do you know someone that needs an MRI? And did you know that you have a choice? When your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI. The founders of Angelo MRI started Angelo MRI when they faced the high cost of MRIs from traditional medical facilities. That's why Angelo MRI offers a better way, a high-quality MRI for just $5.95. And Angelo MRI accepts all insurance, saving you time and money. It's your health, your money, and your choice. Angelo MRI, 4114 South Jackson in San Angelo, or look them up at angelomri.com. Remember, when your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI.
Okay, the Wall Hawks are traveling to the Lubbock area to take on the Idaho Wildcats. Idaho's gotten a lot of love from just the state these past few years of being highly ranked and being one of those teams, but Wall doesn't seem to have an issue with them. They've kind of handled them the past few years. Wall is firing on all cylinders. They went and beat Sweetwater, last week 35-0. The 2 bigger schools in 3A, Jim Ned and Sweetwater, they're both in the same district. They shut both of them out. I don't know if there's anything we can really say about this Wall team that is critical. We need to be critical of Wall because as good as they are, they need some type of criticism, but I can't think of anything, man. They're just playing outstanding football right now.
Well, I was talking to Coach Slaughter yesterday after practice, and to your point, James, Wall did not start out that game against Sweetwater well, and I think
they didn't.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna be critical of the Hawks, we can talk about their start. And again, it was their homecoming too. Like you can attribute what you want to that, but lots of offensive mistakes early. They had to punt the ball a lot early. Only were leading by 2 scores going into halftime.
It was 14-0.
Yeah, 14-0 going into halftime. They ended up pulling it out at the end, but Slaughter said that this team was finding ways to beat themselves, And when you're as good as the Hawks are, you already expect to press your will down on some of these opponents, and when that doesn't happen, it's just something that you need to correct. So he had them flying around to practice on Monday. He invited me to practice on Monday as well, just so I could see some of the good action going on, and they were fired up. You could tell that they weren't satisfied with their performance last Friday, even though it was 35-0. They killed them, but it certainly wasn't up to the Wallhawk standard in either the team or Coach Slaughter's eyes. So expect, even though it's a road trip, expect the Hawks to put on a show against Idalou.
All right. Now let's go ahead and talk about Water Valley and Rankin, number 2 versus number 10. Rankin is, they're number 10 in the state. They're not sneaky good. They are good. 4-1. Water Valley, though, with Trey Cisco as head coach, I don't know if you can ask for a better setup for those kids at Water Valley. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, Water Valley, I think, has allowed 2 touchdowns the whole year, maybe.
I think they've only allowed 14 points, yeah.
Yeah, so not only 5 straight 45-point wins, but their defense has just been dominant, And so with all the firepower they had coming back, we had high hopes for them. They're number 2 in the state, like you said, and they have not even been remotely tested yet. Rankin will be the toughest test they've seen so far, but they beat Rankin by 45 last year, and this is a good program. So, we've been talking about it since before the season. All roads are leading to Water Valley and Robert Lee for the district title, 2 top 5 teams in the state. I can't wait for that, but, Water Valley doesn't want to overlook Rankin just yet, but for right now, that could be the game of the regular season for us,
I talked with Trey Cisco earlier this week, and he brought up, of course, he's just one of those coaches that never wants to take credit or anything, but as far as those kids, I'm sure that they're excited to have somebody like Trey Cisco as their head coach who has played at state, won state. That's got to be exciting for them to have him as head coach because just the wealth of knowledge he is. But on that Rankin sideline, that offensive coordinator for Sterling City when they won state is now on Rankin. So there's a little bit of, maybe there's a little skin in the game there for Cisco to, you're not better than me. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm excited for this one. I'm going to be out this one. I'm really excited just to get eyes on Water Valley, see how they look and how they play. And I've already seen Gordon, I think, while everybody's talking about the district matchup, which it is a incredible thing to have number 2 and number 5 playing each other later in the year. That Gordon, all roads lead to Gordon. You say all roads lead to Robert Lee. All roads lead to Gordon. And because Gordon is top dog at the moment. They've won 2 state titles in a row, and you can't really argue it. They got 3 D1 players on their roster. They just played an 11-man game and beat Thorndale pretty convincingly. But if there's anybody I think I would want on my team playing Gordon, it might be Trey Cisco. And I'm sure Gordon knows that. In the back of their mind, they have a list of people, and that Cisco's got behind that list of people they got to watch out for. But yeah, Cisco, I think he's a great coach. He even brought up Brenner Sherwood at Robert Lee. We got to watch him. And that kind of leads me into our next one. It's kind of a clunky lead-in, but let's talk about the Battle of Coke County. You got Robert Lee and Bronte. Paul, what do we know?
They've played over 100 times over the years. They're just like 12 miles apart. The only 2 schools in that county. And they've had some breaks where one went to dropped to 6-man and the other was still 11-man. But now they're both 6-man, and it's a great rivalry. Both teams started off strong 3-0. Bronze dropped their last 2 against Menard and Eden, and they're going to be pretty overmatched in this game, to be honest. But it's a great rivalry. Pride will be on the line, and they'll see if they can slow down Brenner Sherwood. Nobody's been able to do it. He had a ridiculous performance last week, which we'll get to here in a little while.
Been able to slow down Brenner Sherwood the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
you know,
true.
offensively, defensively, special teams, he's one of the best athletes in our area. So I think it'll be another showcase for him. And I think Robert Lee should roll pretty convincingly.
All right, and we're going to talk about Brenner Short here coming up in a little bit. Before we do, though, we have basically a city matchup. We got TLCA versus Grape Creek. Chadwick, what do we know?
I know that Grape Creek is, turning some heads this year. They had another incredible performance last week, dropped 40 points with that offense. That's something to be said when your entire goal of your offense is to grind clock and win, low-scoring games. They put up 40 points last week. They got a couple of talented running backs back there now that are really making Coach Teal's offense just hum, and they're coming to face off against a TLCA team that while playing better, they're just not quite there yet. I do think that this could turn into actually a pretty decent rivalry if they keep playing like this every single year. I know that TLCA is still hungry for their first win on the season, and they still got a decent home crowd every week out there at Lakeview Stadium, and I just want to see some good football. I want to see TLCA to continue to take a step forward, score some points. But if you're Great Creek, man, like build that confidence up. You got to start impressing your will, especially if you want to claim that second place spot in district here coming up, because Wall's not going anywhere, and if Great Creek wants to start garnering some of the respect that they're building, they got to start putting some of these teams down convincingly.
Yeah, we got to talk about Darrell West and Sire Garcia. Darrell West had a really good start to the season. Paul?
Yeah, definitely. If it wasn't for Christian Villarreal in Ozona, who's taken all the running back spotlight, we might be talking more about Darrell West, who's had over 100 yards every game this year to start off the season. And he really came out of nowhere, because Sire Garcia was the guy that had 1,200 yards last year and was one of our top backs to watch. And, Darrell West, I've not got to lay eyes on him, but, he's last week, 10 carries, 218 yards. He's definitely been a game changer for them, So, watch out for Darrell West. Villarreal's just putting the stats so far out there, but Darrell West is maybe one of the better backs.
Villarreal's going after the Sugar Than Express number, I think. All right. I'm excited for Grape. Grape is always good when Grape's good. You talked about their district and how Wall's not going anywhere. They have to get prepared for Coahoma, because Coahoma's playing pretty good football.
Yeah, they're 5-0 also.
They beat Wink last week, and they beat Albany the week before. And I know those are two smaller schools than Coahoma, but they are state powers. And Albany, of course, with Denny Faith, is always really good, and Wink's always been really good. But
I just want to put this on record, Coach Slaughter. I'm not worried about Coahoma.
I just want to put this on record, Coach Slaughter. I think you need to be concerned about everybody, regardless of how good you are. Let's go hear a word from Shelburne Financial. We'll get into our player of the week. At Shelburne Financial, you are more than just a number. They will help you plan for retirement, prepare tax documents, and more. Whether you're looking to grow your savings or plan for your future, the experienced team at Shelburne Financial is here to help you and guide you every step of the way. Give them a call at 944-9447 or head over to 3177 Executive Drive and invest in your future. All right, our player of the week is not Christian Villarreal. We can't give it to you every week, even though you're putting up good enough numbers we probably could. But this kid had a heck of a game last week. Paul, you got stats, and you kind of, whoa.
Yeah,
Talk about it.
I kind of say that every week when I see him in Villarreal's stats. But yeah, Brenner Sherwood, 350 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns. That alone might get you player of the week. But he was also 12 of 14 passing for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then on defense, 15 tackles, 3 interceptions. And he's their kicker, too. 8 of 11 on PATs.
Just did it all, man.
Brenner Sherwood does it all.
Just proved why he was our 6-man player of the year last year.
That's right.
And, man, let me tell you, when you have people – because when I was talking to Coach Cisco, he just brought, said that, hey, man, he's a problem. When you have coaches like that bring you up, you have the respect of everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that matchup on the 24th, man. That's going to be a good one. But we're going to get into some college football. Before we do, here's a quick word from the ArcLight. Catch all the collegiate and pro football action at the ArcLight Bar and Grill, located at 441 Rio Concho Drive, inside the Clarion Hotel in downtown San Angelo. All right, we got some college football going on. Chadwick, you're going to one of these games. Go ahead and talk about it.
All right. First off, we're going to start in the realm of Division II. We got a top 10 matchup nationally, and probably one that has some serious, implications for the Lone Star Conference title down the road. We got number 9 UT Permian Basin coming to town to face off with number 5 Angelo State. Now, Angelo State comes off a bye. They're going to be ready for UTPB. Still probably a little salty 2 years ago when this team came in and basically stole the crown away from Angelo State on their home turf. So this has turned into a great rivalry, and I know a lot of people are excited for it. Coach Gersh, he was there already getting fired up. He knows that this game's important. UTPB lost this matchup last year in the Permian Basin to Angelo State after ASU knocked out their quarterback early. UTPB likes to throw the ball all over the place. With that being said, ASU likes to run the ball, so it's going to be a kind of opposite ends of the spectrum in this game. But the difference maker in this game is going to have to be Angelo State's defense. 19 games in a row with at least an interception which is just insane. Haven't allowed many points. They allowed more than 20 to the last Air Raid team they played, but on the flip side of that, they also put up 50. So this game is it's one that everyone in this community always looks forward to. So come out and watch that one. Moving on to Division I, this is a game I'm going to be at this weekend. Number 11, Texas Tech is on the road against the Houston Cougars. Another Big 12 matchup that has become sort of a rivalry. Texas Tech has played Houston every year the last 5 or 6 years, even before Houston joined the Big 12. Houston is playing much better this season. They much better than people thought. They were picked near the bottom of the Big 12, but the Cougars just keep winning. So Texas Tech has a chance to get another definitive road win, maybe creep into that top 10 if they win big enough. And they need to, because the Big 12, of course, is not getting any respect this year. The overhyped SEC already has a projected 5 teams in the playoff. And half those teams already have a loss, but we'll see. Moving on to that vaunted SEC. Number 9, Texas travels to the Swamp to play Florida. The Longhorns have something to prove this week. They were also on bye last week, and they need to pick it up because their ranking keeps slipping because they're basically playing with their food when it comes to some of these smaller colleges. After that loss to Ohio State, the Longhorns have not looked impressive until they played Sam Houston 2 weeks ago. Arch Manning finally looked like the Heisman candidate he was supposed to be. So let's see on a bigger SEC stage, let's see Arch Manning take that next step. That defense is going to keep that game low scoring against the Gators, and Texas really needs to have a definitive win. And then finally, the top dog in Texas right now, we got the number 6 Texas A&M Aggies on the road playing Mississippi State. Mississippi State is another one of those teams in the SEC who's playing out of their minds this year. It should be a pretty good test for Texas A&M, and we'll find out if the Aggies actually are, deserving of almost being right outside that top 5. The Aggies, again, if they want to keep pace and keep those playoff hopes alive, they not only need to win, but they need to win definitively. And that's your college football, man.
All right. Final thoughts. It's the bye week. Everybody take this bye week and enjoy it while you can. You don't have a game. You're not going to tear your body up. Go get healthy. Get ready for district. And Chadwick, what's a Bach bat?
It means I can't type. Did I put Bobcat or Bach bat? Yep, I did.
Yes, you did.
Speaking of those Bach bats, Midland Lee's coming, guys. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, it's in the
Get
Game
healthy.
of Thrones where winter's coming. It doesn't come for 10 years.
Almost won that matchup last year. Still definitively think that game was unbalanced and so horribly officiated. That one was kind of stolen last year on the road. Middle East come to your house. Last time they came to your house, they whipped you. So get ready for the Rebels. They've played a murderer's row of a schedule to get ready for district, and they're going to be hungry. They don't like having a losing record. You know what I mean? So that's that on that.
What do you think, Paul? What's your final thought?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pumped about district play too. I mean, it's been an exciting start, but really, district play was what it's all about. Is Lakeview going to break through and challenge for a district title or a 2 seed? Can Central get back into the playoffs? I mean, that's ultimately going to define what the season is. So October is an awesome month for football. So I mean, I'm just really looking forward to these big games down the stretch here.
Yeah, you can be 0-5 and hit district and win 5 district games and hit the playoffs
as a one seed. Yeah.
So district's important. Hopefully you got all your losing out of the way already, and you've learned all your lessons. And you're gonna turn around and go stack some wins and hit the playoffs. But anything else, guys, before we?
That's it, man.
Nothing.
Let's get out of here.
Well, for Cover 1, I'm James Bellini. For Paul Harris and Ryan Chadwick, we'll see you next time.